Hey coin collectors, and welcome to DC Coin World International Coin Channel. And today it's the Alabama State Quarter 2003, the 22nd in the United States State Quarter Series. This is the front, this is the back, and those dots underneath, you're probably wondering what they are. And what we've done is we've actually taken the dots off the back of the Alabama State Quarter, and the dots are right here. And I'll show them to you. And they stick up. And there's a reason they stick up. And let me show you the dots on here. Now, of course, these dots were not made for visual purposes, but you can read them. This is Braille, the language for the blind, the written language for the blind. And you can actually see the Braille on the back of the coin. And this is the first coin ever to have Braille on it, as far as I know. And it says right there in Braille, and the reason that they use Braille is because it sticks up a little bit, and you can read it by the dots by running your finger across it. Your finger gets sensitive enough to actually read. Now, this is a small version, of course, and it's kind of compacted, but what this says here in Braille is Helen Keller, and that is who's on the back of the Alabama State Quarter from 2003. Alabama, the 22nd state to enter the United States in 1819, and the 22nd of the State Quarter Series, which came out in 2003. So let's get back to this, but let's start with the front like we usually do. And we'll say this is a Washington quarter from the United States State Quarter Series. They've changed up the State Quarter Series a little bit, and we've talked about that a lot of other times. But just to refresh you, the old Washington quarters looked something like this. And the new Washington quarters look something like this. This is the D or Denver Mint version of the quarter. It says United States of America at the top, Liberty here, Washington facing to the left, In God We Trust behind him. There's a D down here for the Denver Mint, and it says $quarter. If we tip it up, we see that this is a copper nickel clad copper, kind of a copper sandwich, and they made them in 3 different mints in 2003. They made the Denver Mint, the Philadelphia Mint, and let me show you the 3rd mint, and you won't be able to tell until I turn it over. They also made it at the San Francisco Mint. We tip this up, and you can see way down underneath, there are 2 sets of initials there. There's a J and an F, and there is a W and a C. John Flanagan and William Cousins. So William Cousins upgraded the old United States quarter design for this United States State Series. You notice that this is kind of a satin finish on here. They actually buff these in the different spots, so it shines really deeply here, and it's almost like sandpaperish here, the satiny part. S there for San Francisco. So San Francisco, Philadelphia, and Denver. They also made one other quarter, and that was the silver San Francisco Mint quarter. So the State Quarter Series and the United States Mint proof set for 2003 come in a silver version. In Philadelphia, they made 225 million. In Denver, they made 232.4 million. They made 203 million of the regular S like this, and then they made 3.4 million of the regular S like this, and 1.257 million of the silver S's. How can you tell the difference between a regular S and a silver S? You just weigh them, or you tip them up on its side. If you tip the silver up on its side, it's silver all the way across, no copper sandwich. If you weigh the silver one, it weighs 6.25 grams, or right around there. And if you weigh one of these, it weighs 5.67 grams. There's also one other way you can get these coins, and that is in the 2003 uncirculated sets. And so they took 1 million of each of the coins out um, and of the circulating coins out before they actually went into circulation, and put them into uncirculated sets. So you can find those, and those usually cost somewhere between $8 and $10. The books list them at about $8 to $10. All right, so this was the 2003, the 22nd state. What else came out in 2003? Well, the Illinois quarter came first, 21st, and you can see a 21 on there. Alabama second, 22nd state. And you see it says Alabama 1819. Over here on the left, you see that it's a longleaf pine, and you see a lot of longleaf pines in Alabama. And over here on the right, you see some magnolia flowers here. It says Spirit of Courage. Down here, there's another engraver, and that's the initials of the engraver who engraved the back of this coin. And the back of this coin was engraved, it says N-E-N, and that's for Norman, let me get my, Norman E. Nemeth. Down here, Spirit of Courage, 2003, and then E Pluribus Unum here. The next one was the main one, the 23rd. That's the lighthouse one we did a few months ago. Then there was the Missouri one here. They're kind of an angle because they're in this big old quarter set, and I have to tip them a little bit. Missouri was the 24th, and we'll do that coming up. And finally, Arkansas was the 25th, and that also will be coming. All right, so if you get a chance, take a look at the some of the Braille alphabets. If you get on an elevator, you'll notice that often right above the button, or sometimes right on the button, is the Braille version of the number or the floor button. So when you think of Braille, think of Helen Keller, who really popularized it, and who actually read, talked, and wrote many books and made many appearances, even though she was blind and deaf. All right, that's all we have today from DC Coin World International Coin Channel. We'd love to have you subscribe to our channel and leave any comments you have in the comment section.